Sox fans have loved to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world
Taylor
champions.
drives down and throws it down. Wow! Intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler.
Those Boston Guys present your Sports Pod of the Week.
All right, welcome back to Those Boston Guys. Today it's me and Jack, Quinn, and Dan. Unfortunately, no John. He's here last meeting, but he's not going to be here today. He will be back though. Today we're going to start off with some talk about some news about the MLB and when that could possibly start. Says here that the MLB proposed an 82-game season that starts in July. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
That's like half the season as it is right now. They usually have 162, so it's roughly half. I don't know. 162 games is a lot, though.
It would also start without fans.
Yes.
I like the idea. Or Jack, you can go first.
I just really want sports back. If I get it with I can't go to the games and the season is half as long, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I like the idea. 162 games is a lot, and 82 games is still like a good half of the season. And I don't really mind the fact that there won't be fans as long as it's on TV. But one thing to watch for is a lot of players are talking about sitting out because of pay cuts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be bad. Another strike or something.
Like there's like lots of cities that would not be able to have fans before like others. Like some like random cities would not be able to have fans before like the Yankees and Red Sox have fans.
Yeah.
Like for like all sports. Like if the Bills would be able to have fans more than like the Rams would be able to have fans. But that might affect how the game's played.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I feel like with baseball, personally, I love baseball, but I'd rather watch a hockey game or a basketball game or a football game before I watch a baseball game.
Yeah, baseball's definitely.
I watch like almost every Red Sox game that I can, but still I'd rather watch those other sports. So I feel like if baseball season is half as long, some diehard baseball fans are going to be upset, but like with baseball being my fourth favorite sport, I'm not affected as much.
See, yeah, baseball's definitely my fourth favorite to watch, but it's a sport, so I definitely want it back because, like,
It's a sport that I care about.
yeah.
I heard that the MLB, their proposal also includes having the crew members and the players who aren't playing in the game sit in the stands 6 feet apart. And
Yeah,
they're
when they're on the field, they don't get within 6 feet of each other most times, but on the benches when they could catch coronavirus or yeah.
Also,
Go ahead, Quinn.
the MLB is planning to hold a remote draft June 10th and 11th. They announced that too. So I'm guessing it'll be similar to the NFL draft.
Yeah, it worked for the NFL. It will work for the MLB. I mean, I guess the MLB draft is way, way, way longer, but it'll still work just as good.
And
It'll work.
the thing is,
I mean, it's not going to get as many viewers, but it doesn't anyway. So
Yeah.
the only thing about starting a season is one player gets coronavirus. It could jeopardize the whole season, and that obviously could happen. I don't know if the MLB. This is going to be interesting, just because of the fact that.
I mean, this is almost like 2 months away though.
And also you have players coming up from AAA and going down to AAA, so it's a lot of movement, so people can catch it way easier.
Definitely.
proposal that I saw with they have to be 6 feet apart in the stands. They also banned things like hugs and high fives and fist bumps, and they also are not allowed to chew or spit tobacco.
Why? I don't get the tobacco part.
Well, I guess because like it like lives in fluids or whatever. So like if you spit on the ground and somebody else touches it, and you can spread the coronavirus.
I also saw that sunflower seeds are going to be banned at like selling them at stadiums, which is interesting, but I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I have more hope for the football season than the baseball season, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, baseball, like I said, you're far apart on the field, so I don't think it will be much of a problem, but the whole clubhouse thing will be the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Football also makes a lot more money and has a lot more viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they'll make less money, obviously, now because no fans is probably the fans bring them so much money between concessions and just tickets in general. All sporting leagues will lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2020 is going to be a big year of. A lot of people will be fine, but
I mean, some of the names thrown out there, like Blake Snell and Bryce Harper, who could possibly sit out. I mean, that's big for the MLB to have two big name players sit out. Like, I wonder if that will affect their decision of bringing back play or not.
Definitely. It definitely will. But July's a couple months away, so I'll have to wait and see. Moving on. We each made our own top 10 NBA players of all time list. And since there's not that much current sports news we decided for most of the episode today, we're just gonna go through our list and debate, and yeah.
We were inspired by the ESPN, who just released a top 74 list, so we decided to make our own top 10.
Yeah. We're obviously not gonna make top 74, so we won't have time for that, but 10 will do. But yeah, we were definitely inspired by that. ESPN did a good job. Like, there's just some interesting.
What are some interesting things from the list? You think?
I thought having Kobe at number 9 was pretty interesting. I mean, he has 5 finals wins, and a lot of people have him in top 5. So number 9 was it was not a good placement in my opinion.
Yeah. I have him higher than 9. All right. So do you guys want to just go from 10 to 1 and like everyone says they're 10?
Yeah.
Because they're 9?
Sure.
All right. You guys have at 10.
I have
I have Shaq too, which is interesting because on ESPN they also had Shaq at number 10.
Yeah. Jack?
Cam, I want to know who you had first.
All right. I put Steph Curry at 10 because I think he changed the game so much. It's unfair to not put him on this list. And there were some seasons where he dominated, and I think he's still going to dominate. I think he'll still win another ring once that whole Warriors team is healthy. And that 15-16 season was insane, and there's not going to be another player like him. He's probably the greatest shooter of all time.
I agree that there will probably not be another player like him, and I agree he changed the game. But he's also, he's not close to done yet, and I think by the time his career's over, he could be top 10 definitely, but right now I'd probably put him at, somewhere in the teens.
I agree with Dan. And I think by the end of his career, he'll definitely be up there. He'll definitely be top 10. But I'm not going to put him that high yet.
Cam is Curry, who's a guard, so that's kind of interesting compared to me, Quinn, and Dan, who all have centers. They both have Shaq, and I have Hakeem Olajuwon.
Who I respect it. He's not on my list, but I respect it.
I would have put him 11 or 12 anyway. So.
He's not on my list yet. He'd probably be 14-ish.
Yeah, definitely top 15 in my opinion.
I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion. I've definitely seen other people with this opinion. I think that Hakeem is better than Shaq.
You see,
they played at different times.
The only thing I have to say about that is Hakeem is both his MVP and both his championships were during the time where MJ was not playing.
Yeah. So
we don't know how well he would have done.
It's fair to say that he would have 0 rings if MJ didn't play baseball.
Yeah.
MJ sat out for 1.5 years. He ended up playing 24 games. The second year he came back. He wasn't retired for 2 full seasons. He was retired for 1 in 24 games. He played in the second one.
Yeah.
He lost to the Magic, who went to the finals against Hakeem, and Hakeem swept Shaq.
But that was also when Shaq was like,
And I also feel that Hakeem is just a better overall player. I feel like Shaq is really good at one thing, and that's just being a dominant force on
He's the
offense.
most dominant player of all time.
Yeah, I think Shaq is underrated.
Shaq would be my number 11.
People do not remember or realize that he has 3 Finals MVPs, all while Kobe was on the team.
he was also a beast defender. His rookie year, he averaged 3.5 blocks per game.
Oof.
I mean, Hakeem is obviously one of, if not the greatest defenders of all time. But Shaq isn't like a bad one at all. He averaged over 2 blocks a game throughout his career, which is great. And
Yeah. Shaq would definitely have been my number 11. I know neither of them made my list, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Shaq. Yeah.
What do you guys have for number 9?
Number 9, I had Wilt Chamberlain at number 9.
number 9, I had Tim
Interesting.
Duncan.
I have Tim Duncan at number 9 too. Me and Quinn have the same list so far.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah.
I have Will Chamberlain at number 9.
Huh.
You've
I
Wilt.
was thinking about putting Kobe here too. I mean, Tim Duncan was a 15-time All-Star, 15-time All-NBA player, and 15-time All-Defensive player. So I feel like he could have been definitely way higher, but
Tim Duncan, I feel really bad putting him at number 9 because he was so good, but I couldn't put him any higher. He only had 2 MVPs, I think.
he had more than Kobe. But
Yeah, but I don't know. He was dominant, but I think 9's a good spot for him.
Yeah.
he did what he had to do, and he did that amazing. So
I don't know. I think Wilt was good. He played around the same time as Bill Russell, and I just think that he put up amazing numbers, but that was in the time where there's very few amazing players, and there's only 2 really, him and Bill Russell. And I just don't think that I just think that Tim Duncan overall had a better career than Wilt Chamberlain, because Wilt, how many titles did Wilt have?
he had 4.
He had 4, right? And Tim had more than that, right?
Tim was 5.
Tim has 5, yeah.
Yeah, I just
So Tim had help. He had Manu and Tony for a couple of those titles. I feel like
He had
I mean,
Manu, Tony.
Wilt also played.
all of them.
There's
I think all but he had 4 of them.
all but one. Yeah.
And
How
he had David Robinson.
NBA when Wilt
Yeah.
like 8,
Yeah.
Not
So- and Tim played and won 5 when there was 30 teams.
and
Around
also
30. He won
Tim-
1 with 30.
Tim
Yeah.
had Pop, who is one of the greatest coaches in NBA history.
Yeah, Pop top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
I have Wilt at number 9. I feel like sometimes there's just sets of players and you have to put them together. It's like when you're like a DJ and you play We Will Rock You. You have to play We Are the Champions right after. It's like a rule of music.
I guess that's I don't know.
I feel like there's
I
like a
agree with
rule
that, Chad.
to
I
these
like it.
rankings where there's just sometimes there's players that just go together and you have to rank them at the same point. That being said, I'm a Celtics fan and I'm incredibly biased, so I feel like Wilt and Bill Russell are right about the same, but I have Bill at number 8
Really?
over because, like I said, I'm a biased Celtics fan. I feel like Wilt is one of, if not the greatest offensive player of all time, and Bill Russell is one of, if not the greatest defensive players of all time. And they just coexisted, and I feel like they have to be ranked together, and almost every list I have has them ranked together.
So I split them up. I put Tim Duncan at number 8 because I just think Tim Duncan, what he did was great, but the only reason he's not top 5, top 6 with those accolades is because of what Dan and Quinn were saying earlier, where he played with Pop and Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, and 5 championships is great. But the reason I'm not putting him top 5 is because he did have help. So that's why he's number 8 for me.
I also have Bill Russell here. I have Bill Russell 8. He was good. He was never anything special on offense. He's one of the best defenders of all time. But he was never anything special on offense. But at the same time, he still had 11 championships while doing it, also being a coach for a couple of those. So
I have Wilt at number 8. I mean, I realize he played in a time where there weren't too many teams and he didn't have a ton of competition, but he scored 100 points in a game, and I think that by itself is enough to put him on this list. So
he averaged 50 and 25 in the season.
he was so dominant. He has to be on this list.
That year, right?
He did not. Neither, and that was the same year Oscar Robertson averaged a 30-point triple-double, but Bill Russell won MVP over both of them.
Correct. Yeah. So Quinn, you put Wilt, unless Wilt's not on your list, which I assume he is, you put him above Bill Russell.
Yeah.
All right.
I disagree with that. I mean, Wilt is definitely a better offensive player, clearly, but I think Bill's a way better defensive player, at least pretty good enough. And
7 championships.
Russell won 11 championships, which, I mean, he was the main player on those teams. It's not like he's just a bench player or something.
Yeah, he carried the team to 11 championships. All right, does this bridge us to number 7, I guess?
Yeah.
Yep.
Number 7, I have Bill Russell. Dan.
Number 7, I have Bill Russell too.
Yeah. Jack and Quinn.
Jack?
Number 7, I have Tim Duncan, who is higher than you guys, but
I'm fine with that. And Quinn?
Number 7 is actually where I have Kobe.
Ooh.
Wilt over Kobe. And Bill Russell.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. The Bill Russell versus Wilt argument. Bill Russell had 11 championships. Wilt had
2, I think.
2, Quinn.
2.
Yeah, he has 4
He won one on the Lakers, one on the 76ers.
You said he had 4. But
Yeah, I know. I was looking at MVPs.
he had 2 NBA championships.
I was comparing.
Played in the same time as Bill Russell.
He,
While Bill won 11, he won 2. I mean, he won 4 MVPs. Bill won 5. I mean, I guess you can say Wilt deserved that one, but still, they play in the same time.
Wilt Chamberlain had.
And his championships were after Bill retired, I think, right? I don't know. I just think the fact that he couldn't win when Bill was in the league, really. And then the fact that Bill won 11 championships, including 63, 64, 65, 66, 68, and 69. When I'm pretty sure Wilt played all those years.
Yeah, I have Russell at 7, and I know a lot of people think he should be higher, like top 5, but 11 championships is very impressive, but when you look at how many teams were in the league, it's really not as impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I put Bill in this spot because there weren't a lot of teams in the league. His main competition was Wilt, who he continuously smoked repeatedly.
I have Tim Duncan, and I said that Bill and Wilt just have to go together, so I think Tim Duncan is better than they are because he played in an era with more teams and it was a more competitive league because there was more and more stars. And I also feel that Tim is very comparable to Tom Brady. This is going to be like a hot take, but like I feel like Tim Duncan is very comparable to Tom Brady because
I could see that mental thing, but they're not. I could see like
he
the
wins a lot. They both win a lot. They both are one of, if not the greatest player to ever play their sport. They have one of, if not the greatest coaches to ever coach their sport. And the argument that Tim has help, Tom Brady also had a lot of help. He had some great receivers through the years. He had the best tight end duo with Gronk and Hernandez, and then Hernandez, his mind just broke because he had so many concussions. But if he didn't have all those concussions and he had a long career and Gronk never got hurt, the Patriots could be winning 8 Super Bowls in a row, like Bill Russell did.
Yeah,
the
and
Spurs also, the Spurs
Duncan.
were always there. They never missed the playoffs. They missed the playoffs. I think it was Pop's first year, and I think that was also Duncan's first year. No, Duncan's first year was the year after.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
And-
the number 1 overall pick.
when
And
Bill
Duncan
went
Duncan beat LeBron in 2 finals, which is impressive.
Yeah.
when
Tim Duncan was always there, and then he finally retired, and they still made the playoffs, but they just weren't as dominant. And now this season, it looks like they're gonna miss it. So the streak comes to an end. But
when
Patriots.
Bill and Wilt Chamberlain went head to head in the regular season, Bill was 57-37, and then in the playoffs, Bill was 29-20. So I don't know. I just think that
They're pretty close.
I don't know. I was just looking at, like, if you look at Wilt had more All-Stars. Wilt led the league in scoring 7 times. Bill Russell did that 0. 11-time rebound leader. Bill only did that 4 times. 10-time All-NBA versus 11.
Bill had 11 rings and Will had 2.
Yeah, but he also had more. He had significantly more win shares, which is an estimate of the number of wins a player contributes to. And Wilt Chamberlain had 80 more than Bill Russell did.
Well,
And
he only won
played 3 more years.
won one championship when Bill Russell was in the league.
He had 80 more win shares, and he only played 3 more years.
I don't know, dude. It's just that they both carry their teams. They're the 2 best players of their time. But the fact that he may have whatever win shares or whatever, but he couldn't win the championship when Bill Russell was
He
there.
also had less help than Bill Russell did.
He also couldn't,
You have Havlicek, Kuzi, and Wilt didn't have.
but couldn't win the playoffs. Like,
Quinn, I want to focus on you had Kobe at number 7. I want to know.
Well, looking back at this list, I would have put Kobe ahead of Wilt, but Kobe, nothing like against him or anything, but his prime of his career, he couldn't win until
I don't think Will.
Kobe in his prime was scoring a lot, but after Shaq left, until Pau Gasol got there, he wasn't winning at all. And by the end of his career, the Lakers couldn't do anything. They couldn't tank. They couldn't
make
tank on
playoffs.
purpose or anything because they had him, but they couldn't get any more pieces because they had to build around him.
That's the thing about Kobe.
He was never the same after his Achilles tear either.
Take out the years 2011 plus, he may even be higher on some lists. He just kind of ruined the Lakers for those years.
Yeah. At number 6, I have Larry Bird, which I wanted to put him higher, but I couldn't. He doesn't have as many rings as most of the people above him.
6 is where I had Will, but if I redid the list, I would have switched him and Kobe. I already explained Will, but yeah.
All right, this is probably going to be a bit controversial, but at number 6,
Number 6. Oh yeah, Jack. This is where I really disagree with you.
I have the NBA's all-time leading scorer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, I have Kobe at 6.
I think you have Kareem a little low.
Kareem's
I
a
do too.
six-time NBA champion, six-time MVP.
I know. I feel like Kareem is a much better player than sixth overall, but I feel like my top three is like a very common top three, and then there's another one of those duos that they have to go together. Of
Your have to go together duos are like sabotaging your list.
I
Yeah, Kareem's
really,
definitely not
really
six.
like Kareem. Kareem is a very likable guy. He's a very likable player. He he had a good personality on and off the court, and I feel he is the all-time leading scorer. But LeBron might break that, and he also had one of, if not the hardest to guard shot ever.
Skyhook.
But I don't know how that makes him lower on your list that he had one of the greatest shots ever.
No. I'm using that argument to say.
Before we argue
I feel
this,
like
you guys want to tell us who you guys have 6?
I will, but I would have switched him and Kobe. So if I read the list,
Dan,
I have Larry Bird.
you have Larry Bird 6.
Yep.
Wow.
I have Larry Bird 5.
Yeah, see, but
Kareem was a 19-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champion, 1-time rebound leader, 4-time block leader, 6-time champion, 15-time All-NBA, 11-time All-Defense, 6-time Finals MVP.
yeah, Kareem's definitely low on your list, in my opinion.
But I feel like
6 MVP,
all
6
of the
champion.
players in the top 5 that I have in my top 5 deserve to be. I have 6 players on my list that deserve to be in the top 5.
I see what you're saying.
I see what you're saying too. I mean, there are so many good players. It feels like disrespectful to put Larry Bird at 6, but he only has 3 championships, so that's where I put him.
But he also played with he played in the same era as Magic, Kareem.
Well,
Mhm.
Kareem wasn't.
But
Kareem
both Magic and Kareem have more rings than him, so I put both of them ahead.
The West was also way easier at that time than the East was.
I actually did put both of them. I think our argument there lies with what I'm thinking is that I put both of them ahead of Larry too, but I think what you're saying is that you also put Kobe Bryant above Larry Bird.
I did.
I disagree because a point you made earlier, of his 5 ships, Shaq won Finals MVP in 3 of them. Also, the fact that he kind of screwed the Lakers after that 2010 ship.
It was after he tore his ACL. He was never the same.
He never shot 47% or above from the field in his entire career, which efficiency was never great. And he could score, but he was also not very efficient. But
I put Kobe ahead of Larry Bird because I feel like for the beginning of Kobe's career, he had a lot of players on his team who took the load off of him in the playoffs, such as Shaq. But I think for all of Bird's career, he had players like Robert Parrish who could like kind of help him out. But at the end of Kobe's career, even in 2010, he really didn't have that many pieces. I mean, he had Powell, but
yeah,
I mean,
but
Robert Parrish joined the team and he was averaging 18 points. Shaq was averaging close near 30.
yeah, at the beginning of Kobe's career, he
Shaq's first year.
deserved.
Bird also won 3 straight MVPs, and Kobe won 1.
Mm-hmm. Kobe has more rings than Bird, and I don't want to say rings are the most important thing, but on my list, at least, they are very important. And he has 2 more.
Larry Bird was an All-Star every year of his career except for 88, 89, which he got hurt and he only played 6 games.
Like,
Other than that, he was an All-Star every single year.
like I get that Kobe had more rings, but like
He played for way longer too.
he also let's look at his
Kobe played for 20 years. Bird played for 12, 13.
like the first ship he won. He played like a Pacers team that had not that much talent.
Even old Reggie Miller and
Old Reggie Miller. Well, like let's look
So
at
we were talking about how Shaq won 3 Finals MVPs. Kobe and Larry Bird still have the same amount of Finals MVPs.
yeah, they both have 2.
Hmm
Who won Finals MVP and the one that Larry didn't win?
I believe it was Dave Cowens, but
And Kobe was an 18-time NBA All-Star. And
played-
if you care about this stat, he was a 4-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, which doesn't mean much, but it's pretty impressive.
I don't know. It's just that I think the talent Bird had to go against in the finals was much greater.
there
than,
goes Cedric Maxwell.
like the 1981 final, they had to go against Moses Malone.
They beat the Rockets twice, and the Lakers once.
My dad actually just walked into the room. The one Finals that Larry won, but he didn't win Finals MVP.
Cedric Maxwell, Jeff.
All right.
I think my deciding factor in that was that Kobe does have 2 more rings.
he had to.
And it's not like either of them played in a time where there was not many teams.
Also, the East, when Larry Bird was playing, the East was way harder than the West was. That's why, if it wasn't for those 2 Rockets teams that end up losing to the Celtics, Lakers would have made it like every year in the 80s. And they were going against the Pistons and
still
the
like,
Sixers, who were both like physical teams, screen and grind teams.
like the Larry Bird to win the finals, not even to get there, had to play against Moses Malone 1 year, then Hakeem Olajuwon another year, and then a year where he had to play Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, and Magic Johnson.
They had to play Julius Erving to get there too.
That was when Kevin McHale wasn't really in his prime. He didn't really have much help that year. The 84.
Larry won 3 straight MVPs. He also, though, was way more efficient. He was 50, 40, 90. Multiple.
Never shot above 47%. His most was 46.9 from the field.
When Bird's low was 45.
I think Kobe had to, for a lot of his career, score almost all the points for his team to win. Unlike
But they weren't winning
Bird.
championships at those times.
No, but that's why his shooting percentage was low, like Cam said, because he had to shoot so much for his team to score points.
Bird shot for all his seasons except 2, and the 2 seasons he didn't were when he was 35 and 34 for all of those seasons but 2. He shot more efficiently from the field than Kobe high in his career.
That's interesting. I put Kobe ahead because of the rings and also the fact that he was the only player on that team for a little while, like other than Pau Gasol. And I know at the end of his career they didn't win anything, but in 2009 and 2010 with Pau, other than Pau, he was the only player on that team that pretty much did anything, and they did win 2 rings.
That is a good point. But let's see here.
But Larry is way more of an all-around player too. He has a career. He's a career average of 10 rebounds and 6.3 assists per game. And Kobe's career assists per game is 4.7.
Kobe is known for not passing.
Yeah. That is
And Larry Bird looks like a small forward, power forward.
Mm-hmm.
And he was averaging 6.3 assists per game when Kobe's a shooting guard averaging 4.7.
I really want to talk about Larry Bird, but we're not high enough on my list that I don't want to talk about him. So you guys want to do your number 5?
Sure.
All right.
I'll do mine, and I have Kobe at number 5.
I have
I
Larry Bird.
have Larry Bird at number
I have
5.
Larry Bird.
I have Magic at number 5. Now, like
Ooh.
Magic and Bird are again one of those
You
duos.
put Magic above. Oh wait, you put Magic.
You have not said Bird, right?
No, I have not.
So you have Bird above Magic.
Magic.
Yes.
That
might
might
be
be
a
hometown bias.
This?
You also
Yeah.
have Magic above Kobe.
No, I have Kobe above Magic.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. Yeah, this might be my most biased selection. I feel like Magic Johnson is probably the greatest point guard ever. Steph might pass him. Maybe one day Trae Young will pass him.
No.
No.
Trae can't play defense.
That way
Trae
too
Young
early
is
to
the
call
worst
that.
defendant. Trae Young's the worst defendant in the NBA.
But Magic Johnson had an amazing career, cut short just like Larry, except Larry's was due to his terrible back, and Magic's was due to HIV. So
Larry was diving all over the floor at like every single play, every loose ball. He was going on the ground for a horrible floor at the old Boston Garden.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
Magic Johnson, well, yeah.
Magic was also 6'9", which I think might be a little too tall for a point guard.
He made it work.
Well, this year LeBron's 6'8", 6'9". He's playing point guard. He's like what 6'8", 250.
This generation of basketball is more positionless, so you can have big guys playing guards, except like Ben Simmons. Personally, I'm a big Ben Simmons hater. I just don't like Ben Simmons. Maybe it's that he plays for Philly. Maybe it's that he doesn't shoot threes ever. I don't like Ben Simmons. And he's 6'10", and he's a guard.
Why are we talking about Ben Simmons right now?
6'10" is like the minimum height for a center. He's playing point guard.
Wasn't Magic 6'9"?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
But I don't know, Magic is the greatest point guard of all time. He
Magic,
could do
Magic
everything.
made it work, though. Ben Simmons,
Yeah.
I don't like Ben Simmons.
We're talking what? What's
For me, it was no question to put Magic over Bird because they played in the same time and Magic had 2 more rings. And also, Magic is the best point guard of all time. No one
So
says
wait,
Bird's
I just
one of the
wanna
best
make
forwards
sure.
of all time.
He's
Quinn?
the second best small forward.
Quinn and Dan, I assume like me, you have Bird 5 and then Magic 4, right?
Well, yeah.
I have Magic 4. I have Kobe 5.
And then Jack, you have. Oh
I
yeah,
have,
you
I
have
have
Bird.
Bird at number 4 because Larry Bird would be the greatest small forward of all time if LeBron didn't exist, and it wouldn't be a question.
I'm interested
Well,
to
Steph
see
Curry-
who
Steph
you
Curry
have
would
at
be the
3.
greatest point guard of all time if Magic Johnson didn't exist.
All right, well, so I
Kobe would be the greatest shooting guard of all time if Jordan didn't exist.
yeah, that's another big one.
I'm interested to see what Jack has at 3 because
Definitely
a lot of
Kobe.
people say Kareem, but
They bring at 6.
I
yeah,
have
so it's got to be
Larry at number
Kobe.
4. I think that Larry Bird is the greatest trash talker to ever be in the NBA. Larry Bird was famous for his trash talking, and he owned up to it. You know,
I agree with that, but I don't know how that makes him a better player.
I forget what game it was. It was in the playoffs. It might have been the finals against the Lakers. But he told them exactly where he was going to take the shot, and then he took the shot and he won the game.
So that makes Kobe better than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No. I'm talking about Larry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was confused.
Larry Bird just delivers on his promises. He said he was only going to coach for 3 years as the coach
What
of the
does that
Indiana
have
Pacers.
to do? Him saying he's only going to coach and then coaching for 3 years. That is why he's better than Magic Johnson. That's
Or
you
Kareem.
say that.
Or Kareem.
Or
That's not
Kareem.
my argument. But
I think it is hometown bias for Jack.
it is hometown bias. I have Larry Bird above Magic because Larry Bird was a Celtic. If Larry Bird played for any other team, if he played for his hometown Pacers, if he played for anybody else, I would have Magic above Bird.
You also put Kobe above Kareem, which can't be hometown bias. So Bryant
Yeah.
won
2
5
Lakers, both
championships.
Lakers.
Kareem won 6. He also won 6 MVPs to Kobe's 1.
And he also is the all-time scoring leader.
He's the all-time scorer leader, 15 first or second NBA teams, which actually Kobe did that too.
But Jack, if you think Kobe won MVP usually means the best player of that year. So if Kobe was only the best player of a year one time and Kareem did 6,
Kareem won 2 Finals MVPs. Kobe actually did that too, but
Kobe won 2.
Yeah.
Kareem also won 6 ships, while Kobe only won 5.
Yeah, I just
19-time All-Star, Kobe was 18. Kareem, all-time scoring leader. With Magic Johnson, Max Johnson definitely did help that though, because Max Johnson was the best
True.
passing point guard.
Good
Yeah,
passer.
I think
Yeah.
that
So maybe you can make an argument for Russ.
I have
But-
Kobe that high because I don't know if it's just that I'm still sad about his death, but like I think that Kobe is a great player. I think Kobe he just had a very win first mentality. He didn't have a team first mentality, which is why I don't have him in my top 2.
He's the best mentality of all time.
The Mamba mentality is famous, and he inspired so many people to play. He inspired Jason Tatum, who is
I know he inspired him, but that doesn't make him a better player.
but I have Kobe above Bird because I just feel like he's better than Bird and Magic because people say Pau Gasol helped him in the final 2 championships. I don't really think he did.
I
think
understand.
Lakers in those years.
I understand putting him above Bird because of the rings thing, but above Magic, they played in the same time, and Magic has more rings.
Yeah, but Magic also had one of the best teammates of all time, and he also had a good rest of the team. I think the Lakers were a better team than the Celtics that decade.
The Lakers were, but it's not like I
Depends
feel like
what
the
team.
gap was pretty close.
Yeah. Jack. Also, Pau Gasol was an All-Star every year. In 2009, 2010, he was an All-Star both those years.
Kobe's definitely not the third best basketball player of all time. It's definitely.
This is where I have Kareem.
Kareem also averaged 2.6 blocks per game.
I have Kareem at number 2 or number 3. I mean, also.
Kareem
Wait,
was
if-
also 7'3" with his afro.
He was it doesn't affect how good of a basketball
Most of our debating after number 3 is done.
Yeah,
I agree.
Obviously,
Can we go back to 4 for Magic?
LeBron's thinking. No, I'm joking.
LeBron at 2, Jordan at 1.
Yeah.
I hope everyone has that.
Everybody has LeBron
I'm
and Jordan 1.
I want to ask, is there anything LeBron can do realistically that could get him above Jordan in the rest of his career?
win 6 championships. Like
You
6
think if he
from-
wins 6
With the
from
Lakers.
now, so 9
with-
championships in total?
Yes.
Well, obviously. With
Yeah.
the talent he has, if he has 9 championships, of course he's going to be the best player. But that's not going to happen.
I've heard people say if he wins 5, he'll be better than Jordan, which
I think that's
I
wrong.
guess Jordan had way more help, but
What did
I
Jordan
think-
have, though, other than Scottie Pippen?
Rodman.
Rodman is one of the best rebounders of all time. But other than that,
He had Pippen. Rodman was only there for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Pippen is very underrated. Like Pippen would, I think if Pippen played on a different team, he would be in like top 15 all time. I think Jordan kind of overshadowed him.
Yeah, he was good, but
Pippen helped out.
there's no debate that you guys still think Jordan. You guys all have Jordan 1, LeBron 2. Just make right.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, to quote the famous Giannis Antetokounmpo quote, LeBron is weak, Jordan is the GOAT. Over and over and over again.
I don't know if LeBron's weak, but Jordan's the good.
We
Yeah,
could
I
go
mean,
back-
LeBron just in the finals, he just didn't have what Jordan had. 6-0. Like,
He didn't have the team. Yeah, the teams that Jordan had.
LeBron also
that's
had to go
true, but
against
he had a few.
harder teams.
LeBron had 2 finals losses with the big 3 in Miami,
Yeah.
Yeah, but one was
including to Dirk, who
I mean,
Dirk was the only player on the Mavs who was like any good that year.
I want
Jason
to
Kidd
address
and
the audience here.
Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, but Dirk carried that team. So I just feel like
No, Dirk
that
carried
was-
the team.
that was a very bad finals loss for
That was
LeBron.
also their first year together. I think the Spurs loss is worse in a way.
When they lost to the Spurs, but wait,
That Spurs team was
They're not-
good.
Not worse, but like
And
they lost
that-
literally.
let's remember when they beat the Spurs in his last year in Miami. I mean, if Ray Allen never made that shot, then we'd be looking at LeBron having 2 rings, not 3.
Yeah.
My
But- you can also say, I think the only reason is because it was the Heat's first year playing together, So like they're still figuring everything out, but like by like the end they should.
So
Yeah, by the finals.
I don't know. It's just that
I would
when
like
they,
to
when they when
I
they
would like
beat
to
the,
address the audience here.
when they beat the Spurs, when they lost to Spurs, they lost to Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. And when they lost to
And Popovich.
Popovich and Aaron Baines, I'm joking, but
Go, Aaron Baines.
and Patty Mills. Patty Mills was a solid role player back then. And then when they lost to the
Danny Green.
then when they lost to the Mavericks, it was just Dirk.
It was Dirk, Tyson Chandler,
Yeah,
Jason Kidd.
But
but Jason Kidd was at the end of his career, and the
Tyson Chandler has
on
never
that-
been a
Tyson Chandler was a defensive player of the year.
the fourth
Yeah,
best player on
never
that
been
Spurs team would have been the second best player on that Mavericks team. I don't know if you think that was. Who would you say is the fourth best?
It depends on who you
Manu.
say it was.
I would
Probably
say
not.
Manu.
I would put Manu would still probably be the second best on that.
I mean, I also think that it's unfair to like judge LeBron off of his losses to Golden State because he really did not have a good team.
And
at
then
all.
also, yeah,
Compared to Golden
Injuries is
State.
also a big thing because Kyrie was hurt for one of the finals.
Kevin Love.
Kevin Love was hurt. But you can also say the same thing about why the Warriors lost last year. You can say injuries, but the Warriors also almost lost to the Spurs, but Kawhi got hurt. They were up by 20 points in game one. Kawhi got
Yeah.
hurt, and then they weren't the same again.
I mean,
Yeah,
Golden State was like they got. I don't want to say luck, but they were close to losing a couple times, like down 3-1 to Oklahoma City.
They
People like they lost the finals that year, but it's interesting.
They just stepped it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if they're healthy, no one's beating their team.
I'd just like to say, for the listeners out there, when we were discussing like what we were gonna talk about, these guys were just messing with me, and they were saying I was gonna have Dirk number 1, and then like Maxi Kleber top 5. Does anybody want to explain that to me? Like, I know I love Dirk and Maxi Kleber, but like,
You love
really
Dirk and Maxi Kleber.
because first of all, you're the most biased person we know.
Definitely not Maxi Kleber, but I would not be surprised
If
if you had Dirk 10 or 9 or something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, Dirk is definitely not top 20 even, but he's
you'd say it's top 20.
maybe like late teens, I guess. But it's not that far off for him to be top 20, top 25.
He's definitely top 20.
I mean,
And
he only
he's
has one ring.
One ring.
20 to 25.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
and then one last thing, before we wrap this up, I wanted to talk about a stat that I saw today on Instagram. So there's this page called WTF Stats, and they just tweet out crazy stats, and it's all true. Like, but it's just crazy stats. And there's this one guy, I call him Joe Relish. It's Joel Reddish Relish. I'm definitely mispronouncing that so hard, but like, I don't care. So,
Hey, continue.
have you guys ever heard of Joel Relish?
Nope.
All right, you probably haven't. He's mostly been a minor leaguer in his career. He's played 26 NHL games, mostly for the Islanders. But I think like 3 of them were with the Capitals. But he's interesting because he's spent the same amount of minutes in the penalty box as he has on the ice.
Really? In 26 games?
Yes,
That is
26 games.
bad.
He's 105 minutes in the box and 105 minutes on the ice.
Dude, that's 4.
That is so bad. How is he still in the NHL?
He's not.
What is he in the minor
When did
leagues?
he
Or is
play?
he out altogether?
He is now.
When did he play?
Like very recently.
Really?
Yeah. Like he's still playing hockey, I think. Yeah, right now he's a free agent. He hasn't played in 3 years.
Wonder why.
How'd you mix up either relish or reddish? Is it a D or an L?
No, it's an L. Well, it's spelled Rechllics or CZ.
Dude, the dude's definitely Czech.
Yes.
Probably.
All right. I have an interesting stat that you just reminded me of that I saw yesterday. That Tom Brady has as many losses in the Super Bowl as he does to the Buffalo
The
Bills.
Bills.
Yeah,
Which is, like, that blew my mind because he's played the Bills
34 times.
34 times.
Yeah.
And he's only lost them 3 times. I mean, and it's like, they haven't been good, but in the last 2 of the last 3 years, they made the playoffs. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Brady ran this
unbelievable.
division really counts for the better division because there is – if you go from a competition of Ryan Fitzmagic, Sam Darnold, and Josh Allen to Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, and Teddy Bridgewater, you're in trouble.
Yeah, about that decision, like, I was thinking about that. Like, he might not make the playoffs with the Buccaneers because of that division. I mean, if they do make the playoffs, he has a better supporting cast to win a Super Bowl, but he has such a better chance of making the playoffs if he stayed in New England than going
Yeah.
to Tampa Bay.
I think he's going to be a wild card this season. He's gonna
I
be a
agree.
Because there's 7, so
Yeah.
interesting.
But I think the Saints will win that division, and the Bucks will be the 5 seed.
5 seed. I think a couple of weeks ago I made like a mock playoff, and I think I had them at 7 or 6, but I think it was 7.
Yeah, that could be an interesting thing for next episode. We could do.
A mock playoffs.
We could
Yeah.
do NFL predictions just in general. MVPs,
Mock
but-
playoffs are fun, especially now because it's right after the draft, but you don't know like what prospects are going to be good and who's going to play or whatnot. So this is an interesting time to do a mock playoff.
Yeah. All right. I think that wraps it up for Sports Podcast. Make sure to check us out on YouTube and Spotify at Those Boston Guys. Follow our Instagram and Twitter. And do we have a Facebook? I think.
I didn't make a Facebook.
Okay. I think we
Facebook could be coming soon.
could be coming soon. Watch out for the Facebook. Those Boston Guys. And yeah, thank you. Leave a like, share. All right.
Thank you for listening to this week's Sports Podcast. Please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Spotify at Those Boston Guys.